something on his life. A lot of people have said to me, oh, your father has the most interesting life, you should write a book, or do something to preserve it and for posterity. And I feel like martial arts and Kung Fu is so visual, and I'm not really the best writer, so I thought maybe since I have a little bit of background in entertainment that it would be best to try to do a documentary. So I thought that would be something that I would try to tackle. So I have just been compiling footage and following him around with the camera when we go to China and everywhere, and he did not like it too much. But so I've been doing it for like at least the last 10 years, kind of getting it together. And when we had our 30th anniversary in Orlando, which would be our 40th in Boston, I did kind of a family in-house project to kind of warm me up. And at that point, I aggressively, shot the footage and then went into production and finished post last year. So it was quite a process, but I mean, it's kind of been in the back of my head all this time. It was just, really getting the ball rolling. And since he was really impatient with me filming him, he wanted to see a result eventually, so I figured I should go ahead and get that done, otherwise he'd be mad. So, well, the Wallum system is a combination of his master's style, which is the Tom Toy system, which is his master's family style. So, in China, like a lot of people have their family system. And then the Wallum part is from the Wallum temple, where there was an abbot of that temple. So his master studied there, so he kind of combined that. I don't know if that answers it in completion, but there's, it's in, but it's also, and which was where the Northern Praying Mantis part comes in.
Oh, did you ever feel you were too close to your subject?
Did I ever feel I was too close to my subject? Absolutely. This is my first film, actually, so I've never made a film before. So this, so yes, it was, I probably should have started with something else because it was very overwhelming. And I think the hardest thing, the most challenging was trying to separate what was important to me and what was important to him and the audience, and making it so that it could be well received for everyone. And not, I mean, if I watched 100 hours of him, it would be interesting to me regardless. And I feel like translating that into something that was mainstream was definitely challenging, and what to cut out, what was important or unimportant. And also, I think though, in some aspects, it was probably best I did it, because I might be the only one to get him to sit down and interview for that length of period. You know him, and many of you know him, that he does not stop moving, as you saw in the film. And you'll see earlier on in the footage in China, he's practically walking away from the cameras, he's talking and he's running off. So after the family project, and he saw kind of what I was trying to do, the footage where you see he's sitting nice and still and doing the interview, it's because he knew what the end result was, a little bit more what it was going to be about. So he was a lot more patient and cooperative in that sense. But yeah, in the beginning, filming was after 5 minutes. Okay, are we done? And I have hours and hours and hours of footage. So being close to the subject was definitely challenging, but I don't think anybody else probably could have done it in the same way or also gotten the result, because he really doesn't sit still. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing in the future. Right now, this is actually our last film festival stop, so we're honored to be here in LA. We thank Sunscreen and everyone for having us out here. So it's fantastic because it's our West Coast premiere, and so it's a great way to end the festival on his birthday, and it's pretty much the 1-year mark of us screening in film festivals. So at this point now, we're just going to try to get it distributed through the right channels, and that way you guys can all watch it at home 100 times and see him do his Kung Fu on screen. So we're in that process. So just keep following us on Facebook so you can be, yes. Yeah, the archival footage actually, yeah, the Boston stuff. The archival footage, he actually had the Super 8 camera. He owned that. And he actually took a lot of that footage, so he did cinematography on this as well. But the thing about the footage was, when I was starting to gather everything, he goes, yeah, I have Super 8, I have somewhere. And I said, where? And then he went into the garage in Florida. If you've ever been to Florida, it's like 100 degrees all year round. So it was kind of a nightmare, and I was afraid. But luckily, a lot of it just held up really well, and I just got it, transferred and was able to use it. So we were really fortunate. And yeah, and he actually did take a lot of the footage, like the fight in Boston. There were no cameras allowed into that fight, but because he was so close to Grandmaster Wai Hung, he allowed him to take footage. And we screened in New York at the Museum of Moving Image this February, and Master Paul Vizio was there. And he brought his school, and he had never seen that footage or that fight. And so it was really, really exciting for him and very special. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of archival footage that's never been seen. Check-in and Master Lee Kum Hong, when we were in Fort Lauderdale, his school system that is being carried on there, they brought their school and they were excited to see their Grandmaster on screen, because none of them, some of his, descendants now have never even seen him perform, so especially in that time, in that era. So what he was explaining, I don't know if a lot of you understood, was actually the land that we were pointing at the end of the film. Right now, there's actually construction on that property to build a Wallam Cultural Center and Museum, where we'll have a lot of the artifacts and things from all of his journeys and everything, and we'll also have some classes and different things to help keep the tradition and culture going in the Orlando area. So that's actually, if you see the picture now, it's not cleared anymore. There's already a building going up, and we're hoping to have it finished as far as built but not ready, but on November 2nd, which is the actual anniversary of the temple as well. So this year we'll be celebrating our 33rd anniversary there. So it's been quite a year. So we're again just thank everybody for coming, and most of you here are all friends and family and faces that I know, and I really appreciate everybody being here and supporting the film, and it means so much to us, especially to celebrate his birthday. So.
If you guys can hold it just a second to help me on behalf of the Sunscreen Film Festival, wish happy birthday for him. Go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.